Beginning entry 002. This is the One-NPC RNG Guessing game with tags. More importantly, the NPC is named Mama Jean. I am going to now show you, I have done a demo video about what Mama Jean does. Now we're going to learn how it works and how to make it happen. This is for my engineering notebook, and I'm going to write down in order everything I need to do. A setup for this is that you need to place an NPC. You need a place for 4 lines of command blocks, also a place for the NPC to hide when off hours. The purpose of Mama Jean is to use very few command blocks and only one NPC to give player agency and outcomes, to make interaction feel natural and not a game. And some of the requirements that you need is you need to be able to do NPCs, command blocks, tags, and scoreboards for the tips system. The first procedure is that, what we're going to do now is I'm going to put myself into survival. I mean, not survival, creative. Okay. Now let's get rid of some of this stuff, because I don't care. Now, I'm going to do this for about a half hour. And when the timer goes off, I will just cut the video and I will do the next one, because this is probably going to take, I'm going to explain everything, and I'm going to teach you all the command blocks and the commands that the NPC has, and why I chose those commands, how the system works, so that if you are following along, or me in the future, I can, if I lose this world or whatever, I can recreate this in a different world. And because this is Minecraft and it's Bedrock and it is mobile, I am not able to save a world. And, things happen, worlds get corrupted, and then you have to rebuild stuff. And I just do not want to figure out all the logic. This is not one of the bigger systems, but it is something. Basically, what I'm saying is that, once you learn how to do some of these systems, you can take just parts of the system and apply them to different NPCs or different things you might want to happen in the world. I am intentionally not going to, speed up the video. This is for my own archival evidence and information. I have a notebook here. I'm literally going to be writing the commands down, where they are, why I use the commands, what they do, as I am doing this video to put it on YouTube, so that I have a visual, like, what's it called? I don't know. So I can visually see it as well. If you follow along, I can show you different things that you would want to do that would be different. It's saying you do not, maybe you want the NPC, like Mama Jean, always to be there. I'll show you how you can do that and not have her disappear when the time is different. Because right now, the time on the scoreboard says 2300. If I talk to her, she disappears. She says, I'm done for the day, get it yourself. And then when the time would be, 10 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or, 1000 to 1600, she, if you press this button, she would show up. But you don't have to do that. You can just always have her out. So let's begin. And we're going to start actually with the command blocks. Kind of backwards, but it's not really. And never mind this command block. This has got to do with my spring system, and I really don't care. So let's go ahead. First of all, Mama Jean, when she's not up there, she's actually standing right here. Whoops. It's light. She is standing right here. This is where she teleports to. when she's not supposed to be there. These are the 4 lines of command blocks. We're going to start simply with this one. For the tip jar, press the button for service daily, 1000 to 1600. And so there are 3 command blocks. You do not have to have all these connected. I do it on purpose because I feel like with her personality, she is not getting paid very much to do this. She begrudgingly agrees to do this. And to be quite honest, if she's not, openly there, she wants you to tip her so she shows up because she thinks you could just get water yourself. So the first command block is impulse, unconditional, and needs redstone. As you see, and there is 0 delay in ticks. The command itself is execute if score time well bridge matches 100 ... So it's from 10 to 1600, and it also includes 1600. So that's why she doesn't disappear if it says the time 1600. She disappears when it's 1700. And then we are going to run TP at E. You want to make sure you do the type. The type is an NPC. And if you have lots of NPCs, it is very smart to use the chords. What I'm doing is if the time is between 1000 to 1600, I'm going to teleport her location, where she is currently right now is 115.66 -798. Okay, so that's where she's currently standing right now. The R means radius, so a radius of 1 away from that 115.66 -798. And C equals count, means so there's no way I'm going to have all the NPCs from everywhere are going to show up teleported here. If I were to run TP at E, type equals NPC, it would take all the NPCs that are currently loaded from all the chunks that are loaded, and it would teleport them to the 114.69 -798. So that is where she is going to be. That last outside of the brackets is where we are teleporting her. So the only time she gets teleported is if this time score on this well-bridged scoreboard, the fake player named Time, has the score of 1000 to 1600. And that is the first command block. If you do not want to have your NPCs, have hours or go away or whatever, you just would not do that. You would not have, you wouldn't even need to have this button unless you want to have a tip jar. Now I'm going to show you the tip jar stuff. I'm just running it all in one button press because I think it's kind of funny. But you don't have to do this. You can just, again, do the tips. Okay? The second command block is going to be a chain in this situation. It is going to be unconditional. And it's going to be always active. Because it's not a repeat command block. And it does not matter that it's always active. It's technically not active. It's only running when somebody presses the button to start the first command block. That's it. It's only running one time. And this is for the tips. And what I did was I made another scoreboard named MJ_tip. And so whoever pressed the button, the closest player to the button, if they had an emerald that has more than one emerald on them, it is going to add 1 to the scoreboard of MJ underscore tip, like Mary Jean tip. And so if I were to pull up that scoreboard, you would see my name as a player and what my number is, what my score is on that scoreboard. And I'm not actually using this right now. I'm just letting you know I'm doing this currently just for the future because I hope there's something in the future that Mary Jane, or not Mary Jane, Mama Jane is doing, or Mama Jean is doing, and that maybe she can offer something or whatever. Maybe she won something in an event or something, and she had to choose someone to share the reward with. And maybe she chooses what out of the players that are there, the player that has the highest tip number, who's given her more tips. Currently, right now in the system, though, tips mean absolutely nothing. I'm just doing it for future. So you may never want to do this, but that might have gotten you thinking. It's up to you. Remember, you don't want to just say that someone has a quantity of 1 emerald. You always want to say above or below, just because the chances you're going to have somebody come up and try to give a tip and they only have 1 emerald is very low. But if you say 1 dot dot, then they could have 70 emeralds and it will still take 1 and add it to, it will add, that player will have their score will go up on the MJ tip scoreboard. Okay, the third one is really simple. It is a chain. It's conditional. And the reason why this one is conditional and the other ones aren't is number one, when you press the button, it sends a redstone pulse, and that redstone pulse hits the first command block. And if it's unconditional, it needs redstone, it runs that. The next chain is unconditional, and it will always run that one. So whoever presses the button, if you have an emerald, it gives you 1 on that scoreboard. The third command block that we're looking at right now, it only works if the second command block was able to run. So if you did have an emerald and it gave you added 1 to your score on that scoreboard, then the next one is just going to take 1 emerald away from you. This is always active. And this is a really simple command. We are just going to clear @p emerald 0 and 1. And that right there is the first line of commands. We are going to get her back up here, and we're going to see what she has as commands. These 3 buttons with the commands that go down, this is all for like the little bit of a guessing game that we have that's part of this. And so we're not going to bother with those right now. We're going to start looking at Mama Jean. Only 1 NPC. Here's Mama Jean. So I am going to edit her. And you can see what her dialogue is. I don't need to worry about that. There is only 1 button. But we're using 4 of the command areas. Each NPC has up to 6 command areas. We have 1 on button press, as you see right here when I do the advanced settings, 1 on button mode, and what the button says is ... high. But then I have 3 command areas that are on exit that will run after you exit the dialog. So this is quite a bit of writing. I'm going to get another page, and we're going to go with Mama Jean button. And this is her dot high button. And this is on button press. So you can choose on enter, on exit. This is on button. And all of these commands run in here. So I'm going to start writing this down, and then I will tell you as I'm writing it. So the first thing is when you press high from Mama Jean, it is going to tag at the initiator because you're working through an NPC. You don't have to worry about saying at P and worrying that, are they the closest player? You can literally target just the initiator. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a tag named MJ. Then the next one is we are going to execute unless score. So this is because, and you wouldn't need this if you aren't going to if she isn't going to go away because she's not working at the time or whatever, you would not need this first execute. Actually, the first two, you would not need, no, the first three. You would not need the first three executes on here. You would still need tag at initiator, add MJ. But these first three execute commands, the one execute unless score, execute unless score, execute unless score, you would not need them at all if your NPC is always going to be standing there and being able to talk. But because mine is going to, presumably have a life, that is why we have these. So the first one is execute unless score time, Wellbridge. And if you watched my time, day, season thing, hopefully you still used for time. If you are doing this, time is the fake player, but most likely the name of your scoreboard is not going to be the name of my town. It's not going to be Wellbridge. Although you could do it, I'm just saying. So time Wellbridge matches 100.1600. And then you're going to run tell raw at P. Now, even though technically with NPCs you can use at initiator, there is a well-known bug that when you use execute, a lot of execute commands in NPCs do not acknowledge at initiator. So I do have at P here. Raw text. I'm done for the day. Get it yourself. The next execute is, again, execute unless score time Wellbridge matches 1000 to 1600. Run. Oh my gosh, I just did them backwards, huh? Wow. Okay, so listen. I wrote down the second execute score instead of the first one. So I'm just gonna put a little line here for myself, little arrows to do this one first. Either way, what we're doing is we're going to have her say, I'm done for the day. If it is not between the time she's supposed to be there and you clicked on her, she is going to teleport away to her little hiding space. So that is what the first execute score is, which I know that got confusing. But honestly, if you can see, you can see how it gets annoying, but I'm just going to run. So we're going to run TP at E type equals NPC X equals. So if you notice, what I'm doing is I'm going to target her if she is out, and you were able to press this button. Obviously, she's standing at 114.69 negative 798 because that's where we teleport her when she's working. So basically, we are going to take her from that area. We are also only going to take one, and she's only going to be in a radius of one and the count of one. And then we are going to teleport her to her hidden spot. So I'm going to have to reread these and make sure I didn't screw these up because that would suck. Okay, so the first thing is tag add initiator add MJ. And then the second one should be this one, execute unless score time well bridge matches 1000 to 1600, run TP at E, type equals NPC, X equals 114, Y equals 69, Z equals negative 798, R equals 1, C equals 1, 115.66, 798. Then the next one is execute unless score time well bridge matches 1000 to 1600. Run tell raw at P. Raw text. I'm done for the day. Get it yourself. Now, the last execute in this is also execute unless score time well bridge matches 1000 to 1600. I am going to run tag at A, which is just everyone. I don't care. If it is not the right time that she should be out, no one should have this tag. So I don't care if it's at P. It just needs at A. Everyone should not have tag MJ if it's not the right time for her to be out. So what we're going to do is we are going to say at A, everyone who has this tag, we are now going to remove this tag. The next one is it is the right time, and now that we know it is the right time, instead of me having to do clarification for every single command, because you see how many commands I have in here, instead of me having to clarify and have these long, execute unless the score, execute if the score is this time, do this, those are long commands. But because I tagged the players that were there during the right time period, all I have to do is give to or say to the player that is tagged MJ. Okay? So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to say, we are going to give an RNG, which is just a random number, and you get to choose what random, like what the range is. So we're going to say scoreboard players random. That means that we're going to give the random number at A, and it's everyone who has that tag. I'm not just giving it, if you just did at A, or just everyone will get this tag even if they're not talking to Mama Jean. But I am saying if you press the button, you now have a tag of MJ. So we are going to scoreboard players random at A tag MJ. In my scoreboard, RNG is the scoreboard I'm using. I named it RNG because it's for all the things I do is RNG. So all the players can have their own name on RNG, their own score, and RNG is in fact the scoreboard name. So it is going to give at all the players that have that tag MJ, it's just going to pick a random number and it's going to make it their score on RNG. So it's going to be 1, and then you're not going to put anything there. You're going to take a space and you're going to put 4. At least that is what I'm doing with here with 3 different choices. So you are going to get either, if I went up and touched Mama Jean and I clicked on her when she was working, it would immediately tag me as MJ. It would check and see, oh, look, it is between the time she's supposed to be working. And then it would run, it would give me a random number. I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, or 4. The next bit is you're going to tag at A. Everyone that has the tag MJ, they must first have the tag MJ, but they also must have the scores equals RNG. So it's that player, their RNG score when they got the 1, 2, 3, or 4, they lucked out with 1. And when they got that 1, we are going to tag everyone that has the MJ tag and the score of 1 in RNG. We are going to add another tag to them, and it is going to be just called Mama underscore G. Okay. The next one is scoreboard players random at A. We're going to do another RNG for the players that specifically got 1. Because this is the, if you got the garnish option, you had a 25% chance because you could, if you got RNG 1, you now get to choose a garnish if you watched my demo. But I don't know what question you're going to get. What kind of clue are you going to get? I made a total of 6 clues. So now I'm going to give you a random RNG, and so it doesn't get confusing. 1 through 4 was to figure out this, and then RNG 5 through 10, that's 6 numbers. And that way, if you had RNG 5 after this, I know that this is what Mama Jean is going to ask you, or tell you, or complain to you about. That is what she's going to say. So, scoreboard players, random, at A, tag. Now I care if you have the tag Mama Jean. Your tag is Mama Jean, so that means that you got the special RNG, and I'm going to give you another RNG of 5 the whole way up to 10. So when you do RNG, when you're doing random numbers for that, you put the number that you're allowing them to first start with, and then the number that you allow them to end with. So at any given time when you first got 1, and they do this second RNG, you'll either get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Okay? Now, everyone who didn't get lucky with that, we're going to give at A, who has just the regular tag MJ still. And their score was not 1 originally. Their scores were, first of all, this one is RNG equals 2. They are going to get, I believe it's mundane potion, is potion. The first number after potion is how many potions. So they're going to get 1. And then you'd have to look it up, but 1 after that means mundane potion. So I'm going to give everyone who had the RNG originally as number 2, they are going to get this mundane potion. I am also going to give at A, anyone who has the tag equals MJ, scores equals RNG equals 3. I'm going to give them, I believe it is a thick potion. We'll find out. But it is 1 and it is 3. And then I am going to give at A, tag equals MJ, scores equals RNG equals 4. The potion, which I believe is the awkward potion, so we'll get 1 awkward potion. And the absolute last thing that I could fit into this button, I have done everything I can in this button, is I am going to tag at A who has, so basically I'm going to remove MJ, and anyone who has the special tag of Mama Jean, who gets to do special things afterwards, gets to actually choose choose a garnish to get a buff, I'm just going to remove MJ from them. They don't have to have that tag anymore. They only had to have the tag to, make all this fit in one button. Because if I wouldn't have gave a tag to everyone who clicked on Mama Jean when it was the right time for her to be at work, I would not have been able to fit all of that in this one area for this button. So we're going to tag at A, tag equals Mama Jean. So everyone who has the Mama Jean tag, we are going to remove MJ. So they will no longer have that. And just to make sure, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to minus one just to see nothing was after that. So nothing is below that. It's just tag at A, tag equals Mama Jean. We're going to remove MJ. And that right there is the button that says hi. That's a lot. Now, that's done a lot of stuff now. So what happens is someone goes up, talks to Mama Jean, and because I have this time system, it will automatically teleport her down to her little hiding place. It will have her say something in. When you do raw text or you do tell raw at P raw text, it is going to only go to that player in their chat, and it will look sort of like Mama Jean's talking to you. And she's going to say, I'm done for the day, get it yourself. Then we are going to remove that MJ tag from anyone. If she's not out, you don't need the MJ tag. And then we are going to give the RNG of 1 through 4. So you will have a 75% chance of getting, one of the three, mundane, awkward, or sick potions. And then you will have a 25% chance of getting the RNG of 1, in which you'll get the special things. So hopefully that made sense for everyone. And when I come back, we are going to do the next command. That's an on-exit command. We have 3 on-exit commands. And, I feel pretty good about this. It's been about a half hour, and we were able to do 1 line of the command blocks and 1 in the actual button for Mama Jean. And I will start the next. It'll be entry 002.1. And you'll be able to see that as a video, is that we will start exactly with the next area for commands, because you can choose button mode, on enter, on exit. And the next command area we will start with, which will be the second command area in Mama Jean. And I look forward to seeing you there.